Welcome to the Futurist Public Intellectual. On July 29, 2024, President Joe Biden wrote an opinion piece in the Washington Post urging reform of the Supreme Court, along with a new constitutional amendment that prevents presidential immunity from criminal prosecution. Since I've addressed the presidential immunity issue in a previous episode, I'm going to analyze the three major reforms that the president is proposing for the Supreme Court. First of all, Biden wants future presidents to appoint a new justice every 2 years. It sounds like he's saying that every president would get 2 justices per administration. He doesn't say what the maximum number of justices on the bench would be. If this measure is supposed to somehow stabilize the makeup of the Supreme Court, it looks like it's going to fail. Let's say we take a look at the administrations from 1969 to 1992. Because the majority of the presidents elected during this period were Republican, that would mean there would have been 10 justices appointed by Republicans and only 2 by a Democrat. Instead of stabilizing the makeup, this reform could make the Supreme Court even more lopsided ideologically, as long as the same political party won the White House. The next proposal is reducing the justice's lifetime appointment to a term limit of 18 years. The average tenure of a justice is 16 years, though with increasing lifespans, the justices seem to be serving for longer periods now. What's ironic about this proposal coming from Biden is that he himself is a lifetime politician. He has personally served 36 years in the Senate, and yet he thinks that the justices need to have term limits. Considering judicial independence is the key reason for having lifetime appointments, why should the justices get term limits, but not Congress? Some continue to say things like they want the justices to be accountable to the people, but they're missing the point. The justices are guardians of the Constitution, not representatives of the people. If anything, the justices have to protect the public from themselves. The last proposal is the most specious of all. While an enforceable ethics code sounds like a good idea, how would it be administered? If the justices are behaving egregiously, I'm not sure why anything other than the threat of impeachment is necessary to keep a justice in line. Obviously, the justices need to behave ethically, but just like with presidential immunity, since Congress is the most powerful branch of the federal government, there's something to be said about being protected from the vicissitudes of public opinion. Thank you for listening to the Futurist Public Intellectual.